In this video, I want to talk about a problem someone brought up a while ago, and that, of course, was extending their foundation base past the edge of their wall finish for some type of artificial rock or brick type of design they were going to use. And it's a good idea. I like it. I mean, you know, people come along and they put, they add 3 inches of material to the front of a building and the foundation is back, you know, about 4 inches now. It doesn't really look good. So it's a good thought. But let's take a look at a problem you'll run into if you do actually extend the foundation for some type of artificial rock or brick. And this, of course, would allow you to finish something close to the edge of the foundation. And of course, that would look better. And I have to agree. But if you do something like this, you will need to add some type of metal to the bottom. And basically what this is going to do is allow any water that gets behind the stucco or the siding to roll down onto the metal. It's not going to roll back up onto the, if the metal's there. I guess it would if the metal was only 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch tall. But the whole idea of putting the metal down would be to allow the water to roll down and then out. And sometimes the water might pool up around here, depending upon how much of a gap you put between the metal and your wall surface, your artificial rock, or your brick, whatever that's going to be. But the metal is a must for something like this. Now, here's what would happen if you don't put the metal down. The paper just runs down. Any water that gets behind here is going to sit on top of the concrete, and it could get absorbed into the concrete, and it can also go back into the wood framing. Keep in mind that as water absorbs into the concrete, it will absorb into the wood. I'm not saying it's going to do this all the time, but most of the time, if the concrete is wet, the wood will get wet. And if you have treated wood and you think that treated wood doesn't get wet and it doesn't rot, you need to watch a few more of my videos. Now, this is what it looks like normally. If you have stucco or siding, the foundation lines up with the edge of the framing. And then the building paper runs down past the top of the concrete footing, right where the frame is. Usually I like to run this down at least 1 inch minimum. Start my siding 1 inch. This gives it plenty of room for any water that does get behind the siding or the stucco to run down and out. So keep in mind that this right here is going to require some metal. And the metal, of course, is a good idea. So if you are going to extend your foundation, wouldn't be a bad idea to put the metal in here and make sure that you understand the process of construction, how the water is actually going to transfer and leave the area. We've got to get rid of the water. It has got to leave the area. We don't want it hanging around. We don't want to absorb it into the concrete or the wood. So another thing I'd like to point out is to always check with the product manufacturer, see what they recommend. A lot of times I'm just guessing. They're just going to have you attach it to the stucco. That's going to be fine with them. But that also creates other problems. I'm probably going to make another video on that in the future, how the water actually can absorb into the stucco and work its way down behind the product and actually push the product off or have the product crack. So maybe I will do that soon and attach a link to it here at the end of the video.